Hello, and welcome back to another City Skylines 2 video, this time part 33 on West Goldfield. Now today there are a few things I would like to get done. Now I have been thinking, and this area over here along the highway is very barren, and so is over here, but it's not really enough space to build a city, plus even if we did, it wouldn't be connected really well to anything. So, my idea was to put some sort of agriculture or some sort of industry that harvests natural resources there. So, I do think the best way to do this would be to take a road from probably this main road here, bring it back, put maybe like a farm here, and maybe find a way to get a road over here to put a farm here. So, I am going to jump into that now. And there we go. That is the road network laid out for, the farmland that's going to be over here. So now I am going to start planning and zoning for that land. And there we go, that is a few farms down. And also, I snaked a road back here so we can eventually put a few more farms on this steep mountain also. Additionally, I think it looks pretty nice, especially this tree farm. You can actually pre-plant the trees if there aren't trees, and it'll still use them, and I believe it should replant them in the same spots. Now I'm also noticing this building right here is looking a little awkward, so I am going to try to fix that. And that looks a little bit better. Now I do want to look at our demand indicator, and we can see that we have plenty of demand for everything, and there's not one drawback on anything. So, as we look around, we can see this area has pretty much all the buildings it can. We might be able to slip one building here though. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's really a ton of places we are able to build. I do guess we could slip the road down here and build quite a few homes here. And there we go, that is a few homes built over here. And now looking over here, I can see we could probably push the mountain back a little bit and slot in a few more homes in this area. And there we go. In this section, I think we have built as many homes as we really can, because this area is way too steep. And again, we've ran out of space back here. Now what I do want to check on is our schools. And as we can see, they are being utilized a little bit, the high school more, but we should still upgrade both of them with leisure. And again, I do want to also check on our college, and we can see that we have almost 1,000 people going to this college, which I do also want to check on the other one just to make sure it hasn't taken away people from this one. And it really hasn't, which is pretty huge. Now something else I'm noticing all over here is that a ton of these buildings look a lot nicer, as a lot of them have upgraded, especially these ones. Now I am also seeing that there is still the garbage problem, which makes me want to check on our landfill. And as we can see, almost all of our vehicles are being used. It is processing at a great speed, and its stored garbage is not too high. So this leads me to think that there are just simply not enough vehicles. Not that our city is necessarily sprawling quite yet, but it is quite a large city, even though it is still dense. So I do think it is just about time to look into building another incineration plant. Now we should, of course, always check airflow, and I think maybe somewhere like here might be an answer, but then again, there's a ton of people who live in this area, who shop and go to school too, and there's a newly built college, so I think that's off the list. Over here is super dense, and I don't really think we could even fit one if we tried. Really not sure where we could build this, and we might not even be able to without building it somewhere like here, which even if we wanted to build it over here, I'm not sure it would fit. Especially with the slope, that's not something that's going to be able to happen. So I do think this is something we should look back to a little later. Now, again, we are still seeing there is a problem with death care, and I do believe I forgot to upgrade this crematorium with an additional incinerator. So that should help to solve the problem, at least a little bit. Additionally, traffic isn't horrible, but it's something that could definitely be better, although I'm not really sure how I would fix it. Now, I do also want to look at the amount of crematoriums we have, and we only have 2, which is pretty shocking to me, as most cities I build that are this large need a ton of crematoriums. But surprisingly, because traffic is pretty well managed in this city, because there's pretty much a highway behind every major area, hearses are able to work. But even over here, well, I think this is more of a traffic problem, but even over here we are seeing problems starting to gather up. But again, I think it's just moving in traffic. But over here in this part of the city and this part of the city, traffic isn't horrible, at least to the point where there should be this many people waiting for hearses. So I do want to look into fixing that by building maybe another crematorium. And I think over here is a pretty good area. It fits it perfectly, and I think if we just give it an upgrade, it should be more than enough to solve our problems for now. Additionally, we should keep in mind, keeping these areas free are going to be pretty important. And also, seeing as we have nothing built over here, I think we could build an extra hearse garage right there. And I do think this actually looks quite nice and fits the theme We are once again, though, seeing demand is climbing really, really high. And I know I'm talking a lot about building homes in this area, but something else we should do is look towards building workplaces such as offices over here. Because really, the only two workplaces are these two commercial stores, and then maybe parking lots, and schools, and really services. Other than that, though, there's really no jobs. So, I think it would make sense to look towards building maybe just like a couple offices. And up here, I think would be a pretty decent spot, as it's on a main road and is probably going to be in somewhat of the heart of this area eventually. And there we go. Now what I would like to do is, as there are a few spaces here for homes, just zone in some medium density. And also, I think a few row homes along here would be pretty fitting, especially as they deal with the slope pretty well. But high density demand is still here, and medium density demand is coming right back. Now, along this side of the road, I think we could also put a few homes. And there we go. As we can see, we have mostly gotten rid of the high density demand, and now we just have to look towards medium density. Now, I do think if we expanded the road a little bit this way, we could probably get a few more homes back here. And there we go. I also just discovered a new road type where you can have a ton of parking spaces. Now, it is a pretty wide road and a pretty big road, but I don't think it looks too off. I am, of course, though, going to plant trees, as I do enjoy putting trees where I can. Now, I really think we have reached capacity. I know I've been saying it quite a lot, but I don't know what else to do. Now, I am seeing a lot of our ambulances are in use, and there are people waiting for ambulances, so I am actually going to upgrade the the clinic rather, with an ambulance depot. Now, also, I am seeing traffic is backing up over here a little bit, but that's because of this exit. I am also noticing, though, the traffic flow in this intersection, although it's quite wacky, the actual intersection, traffic doesn't really seem to be a thing, which is pretty great. And again, also, all the way onto the bridge, we can see cars are backed up. So what I would like to do now, I think, is build a train station probably around here so that people can get where they need to go. And there we go. Now that we've built the train station and train system on this side, let me just upgrade it really quick too, so that more people will end up using it. Now we have to just build the same train system on the other side too. Now, as we know, it is already hooked up to tracks, so all that we have to do is find a place to put a station and hook up some tracks. And there we go. That is our first few lines added in. And again, I am really realizing this area is looking pretty crazy. It is a pretty crazy intersection with a lot going on around it. But as I've said, it is pretty functional. I mean, there's not traffic backups on the intersection. And very useful services. It's not really causing any problems. Again, the only problem is moving in traffic, which will eventually go away. We have gotten a pretty good amount done, fixing a few problems, or at least taking steps to fix them, adding trains, and putting more buildings, and then also putting some farmland. Anyways, that's the end of this video, and I really want to thank you for watching through the whole thing. It really means a lot. In the meantime, if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them down below, and have yourself a great day.